going to talk about your 2020 marketing plan, right? And how to generate, kind of how to get the best results from your roofing business in the coming year. So what we're going to cover today we're going to start by setting goals for 2020. How many leads that you need to hit your target. A lot of times we'll set goals, but we don't really dig into what goes into those goals, those specific individual steps that will allow you to get to those goals. We're going to talk about the 3 fundamentals of marketing success. We're also going to talk about how to optimize your website for conversion in 2020 and beyond, and in the big picture of all of the online marketing opportunities that exist, online marketing channels that exist to maximize your lead flow to your roofing business. And then we're going to go into a little bit of the latest trends that you need to focus on and things that happened in 2019 that are making a big impact going into 2020. So of course, this thing right here, I put mine on do not disturb. I know it's really difficult a lot of times, but if you can, turn off your cell phone, turn off Facebook. If you're really serious about really finding success in your roofing business in 2020, this is going to be a very important webinar. There's going to be a lot of great information that you can implement and execute in your business through this year. So, for those of you who are on here that don't know us, I see a lot of names that I recognize. But who we are and why you should listen to us. Brian and I have been in the digital marketing space for many years. I started doing SEO when we were writing keywords in the same color as the background in the page back in like 2002, right? Things have changed a lot since then. We are the published authors of Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, how to triple your sales and turn your website into an online lead generation machine. You can check that book out on Amazon if you haven't ordered it already, or go to our website. You can order it for just shipping and handling. We'll take care of that for you. We're active members of the NRCA. We only work with roofing contractors, so we really understand the roofing niche in relation to digital marketing. And I am the host of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you haven't tuned in and listened, check it out on iTunes. Check it out on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, anywhere that you're getting your podcast. It will be available to you. Just search for Roofing Success. You can also check that out on our YouTube channel with the videos included with the guests. So, this is all we do, right? This is what we do on a day-to-day basis. We work on digital marketing for roofing contractors. So in today's climate, we have a thought process on an all-encompassing approach. We don't believe that just one thing will make a significant difference in your business these days, right? You can do SEO and get your website ranked, and that's great, and you'll generate leads from that, but you're missing out on a lot of the other aspects of digital marketing if you're only focused on one thing. You can focus just on pay-per-click advertising or just on social media advertising, and you can generate revenue from your business from this. But as things change, right, as Facebook makes changes, as Google makes changes, there's ups and downs in that. So we believe in an all-encompassing approach to your digital marketing efforts. And so that's where we believe that you guys will be able to find the best results. So I have a question for you. Again, we want to keep this interactive. What is the hardest part about marketing your roofing business online? What are the struggles that you've been facing? Give me a little answers there in the chat, and let's see what people are coming up with. Michael, competitor campaigns from larger companies, for sure. That's if you're the small, medium-sized player in a market, or even if you're a big player in your market and one of these, $80, $100 million roofing companies comes into your market. We've seen it multiple times, where companies like Mr. Roof, they do $175 million a year in business. They come into a market and they have unlimited pay-per-click budgets, right? And start driving the cost up on things like that. So there's a lot of things. Sarah said there's a million other roofers in your area, right? How do you differentiate yourself from your competitor, right? Because homeowners don't understand, right? They don't understand the difference between one roofing contractor and another. They might not be able to differentiate you from Chuck in a truck. So how do you make that differentiation? We're going to go into that today, and that's where we're going to kind of be starting out here. But again, if you haven't downloaded the workbook, go to download the workbook. I put it in. It's the second link. I had a misspelling on the first link, so that second link there in the chat box. Download that workbook. This is something that you could sit down with your team, with your partners at a later date. Also, print this out. Everyone can go through it. You can throw around ideas. So do that. So the first thing we're going to talk about is setting clear goals, right? So what are your goals for 2020? Success is goals. All else is commentary. That's a quote from Brian Tracy. He's a longtime sales trainer. And not having goals is like being on a sailboat in the ocean with no wind, right? You have no direction. You're not getting any progress. You're not moving. The currents are just kind of taking you wherever they see fit, right? You don't have control of your business if you're not setting proper goals. So clear goals is like the wind in your sails. It's going to take you from the point A that you want to the point B that you want, right? And sometimes, it'll also allow you to, see if you're drifting off track, right? If you have these set, clear, measurable goals on an ongoing basis throughout the year, you're going to be able to see if you're off track, right? I heard a great analogy the other day where, with airplanes, if a plane is flying from point A to point B, there are so many adjustments that they have to make during that flight just to land on that runway at point B, right? So you're going to have to make adjustments along the way, but you have to know where point B is. You have to know where you're going. There was a Harvard study done in 1979 of Harvard graduates. 84% of Harvard graduates said that they had no specific goals. 13% said that they had goals but had not written them down. 3% had clear written goals with a plan to accomplish them. The results of this, the 13% of the class who had no goals, who had goals, were earning on average twice as much as the 84% that had no goals on that graduation day, right? Twice as much just for having a goal. But the 3% who had clear, measurable, written goals were earning on average 10 times as much as the 97% other of the others put together, right? So this is an extremely important thing. In your goal setting framework, we're going to talk about how you need to have written goals and plans. You need to set at a minimum, right? At a minimum for your company, you're setting a 1-year goal. You're breaking that down into quarterly goals and then down into monthly goals. Because as you know, in your roofing business, I know Michael's up there in Ontario, right? We got Aaron in he's down south. Rachel's up in the northwest there. Every market is a little bit different, right? And every market has its season, right? In the northern markets, you're probably not doing much roofing. In Minneapolis right now, there's not much roofing going on, right, in January. So you have to adjust your monthly goals, in accordance with your market and the way that your market, the way that your market is, your roofing season. You must have a stopping point at the beginning of each year or at the end of each quarter to reflect, right? Those are those adjustments along the way. So we go down to a monthly or weekly level even, into where you can make these adjustments on a weekly basis. Oh, hey, we're off track, and you can see how far you're getting off track as if you have those clear measurable goals on a short-term basis. So what are your goals for 2020? In the marketing booklet, if you've downloaded it, there's a place for you to write this stuff down. So what is your revenue target, right? You don't have to answer in the chat. You don't have to do that. If you feel like you'd like to share that, that'd be great, and we could talk about it. How much is that monthly? Break that down into a monthly goal and adjust it for the seasonality of the roofing season in your area. Now after that, we want to look at how many calls or leads to your business that is going to require. How many people are you going to have to speak to generate that many roofs, right? To generate that revenue target. So to do that, you'll need to think about your average transaction value. And you could do that by going, just going to your books from 2019 and taking the total revenue that you generated by the total jobs that you did. And that will give you kind of your average transaction value. With that average transaction value, say you have a revenue target of $3 million. That would break down into $250,000 monthly. I'm going to make the math easy for myself and just break it up, on a 12-month basis here. But for your company, remember, break it up and adjust for seasonality. So the average transaction value, say, is $10,000. Again, to make my math easy. So that would require 25 re-roofs a month, right? 25 jobs a month to hit your annual goal. In knowing this, we want to talk about the average conversion rate from lead to sale. So again, you could go back into 2019 and say, oh, we had 100 phone calls, and out of those 100 phone calls, we closed 30 roofs, right? So that would be a 30% conversion rate. So you want to divide your job target by your conversion rate. So if you want 25 jobs a month and you had and 30% of your leads turned into a job, that would take you 83 leads a month, right? So now you have a clear defined target. So make sure you're writing that down, putting that in the chat there. So, so now that we've kind of gone through that, think about how many leads you will need to get to your monthly target. If anyone wants to share that, drop it in chat here. I'm going to check the questions in the Q&A. Michael says 445 qualified leads with a 30% success rate scaled for the season. See, once you have these details, it's empowering, right? It makes it so much easier to get to your goal, and it will tell you on a month-to-month basis if you're getting off track. So thanks for sharing that, Michael. So now we want to talk about, we've talked about the goals. We want to talk about the fundamentals of marketing, because to get to those goals, to generate that lead, you're going to need to do marketing for your business, right? And in the fundamentals of marketing, there is the message. That's the what you're telling people. There's the market. That's the who you're talking to. And the media. That's how you're distributing your message. And all three of these are very intertwined, or kind of overlap on each other, right? So the first thing we're going to work on today, and if you look at your workbook here, is we're going to work on updating your marketing message for 2020. As Sarah mentioned earlier, there are a ton of other roofers, right? How do you differentiate your company from the next company? So starting with the who, right? We're going to start with the who. We want to figure out who our ideal customer is and target our marketing message to them and distribute our marketing message to that person through the proper channels where those people are. So we talk about that in the marketing world as being your ideal customer avatar. That's the kind of the marketing speak for that. And And in your ideal customer avatar, that could include the demographics of that individual. They're a homeowner. They're 35 years of age or older, maybe. Maybe they're typically female, occasionally male. They're married with 2 to 3 kids. $65,000 annual income or greater. That's of course going to vary in your area. They're family oriented. They're reliable. They're easily frustrated. They're not handy. They live in the suburbs, upper middle class neighborhoods. And you could go into even more detail. They like gardening, crafts, arts. They like to please people and expect the same in return. The pains and frustrations that these people face in dealing with their roofs are things like, hey, their roof is leaking, right? Or a hailstorm just came through and 2-inch hail just fell on top of their house. Another pain or frustration that comes up a lot is they can't get a roofing company on the phone or anyone to call them back. They need to get their issue resolved. That's a pain point that they have. They're too busy to deal with it. These people have 9 to 5 jobs at least, maybe 2 people working in the household. They're picking up the kids from school or taking them to practice, dance lessons, all this stuff. They don't have the time to deal with, waiting around for a contractor. And they're worried that the situation could get worse and lead to further damage in their home, right? Those are pains and frustrations of these people. Now, these people also have fears, and there are implications to those fears. So the first thing in being a contractor, the first fear that a customer is dealing with you is the fear of being ripped off, right? There's news reporters in almost every market of the country who have made a name for themselves as being the guy that busts the scammers, right? That's a major frustration or fear that people are going to get ripped off or overcharged. Paying too much for something that they could have gotten cheaper. Having their home damaged by faulty workmanship. There's stories, countless, endless stories about this out there. Having to wait around for the roofer at their home, right? Just like you and I, we don't like to be inconvenienced, right? If someone says they're going to show up at 10 a.m. and they don't show up until 2 in the afternoon, that's not a great experience. Being inconvenienced and trying to coordinate with the roofer, ruining their landscaping, right? Ruining their rose bushes and all that. Another fear that they have is that they won't be able to afford a new roof, right? If you're at $8,500 or $12,000 or $15,000 for a new roof, can this person afford this? So their goals and desires are to get the roof fixed, to have the issue behind them. They want to have a well-kept home. They want to be able to make more money and spend time with their family. They want to maybe drive a nicer car, keep the kids happy and healthy, spend more time with their family, have a peace of mind. So in marketing, we're thinking about these things, even on a little bit more global level, not just what are they dealing with your specific interaction with them on the roofing scale, in roofing. And this is a quote. It's in the book. It's in the workbook a little bit differently. But if you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones' eyes, then you can sell what Joe Jones buys, right? So if you understand how that customer is looking at your company, right, and looking at who they should trust to perform the work on their home. If you're thinking about that in very great detail, you're going to be able to sell them what they want to buy, right? So now we're going to talk more about how to craft the message to that ideal customer avatar. So moving on in the book here, write down why someone should choose to do business with you versus the competition. I'd love to hear some things about that too in the chat. If you want to drop something in chat, why, Sarah, with all the with a million other roofers in your area, why should someone do business with your company versus them? What benefits do you offer your target customer avatar that your target customer avatar will resonate with? A little bit more about the target customer avatar is you don't have to have one, right? You could have many. There, you could have a target customer avatar if you do commercial, right? You have a specific target customer avatar there. You have a specific target customer avatar for maybe a metal roof client or a customer. You have a specific target ideal customer avatar for that storm restoration customer, right? You can have multiple ideal customer avatars, so you can craft different messages to each of them. So some messaging that works in the roofing industry, of course, the free inspections, right? But differentiating your inspection versus the next company's inspection. You know, how thorough and detailed your inspection is versus theirs. Straightforward upfront pricing because people are afraid of being ripped off, right? That you have trustworthy crews are very experienced. That speaks to that fear of faulty workmanship. That you have great warranties, you know, specific years. If you're, if you have the 50-year warranty on the materials, specific workmanship warranties, if you a 10-year workmanship warranty, lifetime workmanship warranty, you know, that you're local to the area can be a big thing. Being local to the area, you can, you know, put the message out there that, hey, we're going to be here if anything happens, right? You know, that roofing salesman that came through just for the storm, those guys are in and out. Something you need something, you know, 6 months from now, a year and a half from now, we're going to be there for that. Affordable financing options, speaking to the, can I really afford $10,000 roof, a $12,000 roof, even a, you know, $8,000 roof? We're talking about, you know, a lot of money to people to put out on something that they really don't want to buy. Right? A lot of times people don't want a new roof. They have to have a new roof. So affordable financing options, same day, fast same day estimates. You know, we'll get out there today and we'll do our inspection and, you know, we'll get you an estimate today. Money saving offers, leaving the job site squeaky clean, letting them know your cleanup process, how you make sure their landscaping is protected. Experienced and proven track record, putting forth all of the experience that you have. Sarah mentioned that they're GAF Master Elite contractors. They have a great warranty that most people can't get, for sure. GAF has an amazing warranty. Put that forth in your marketing message, right? Make sure that people understand the difference between that GAF Master Elite contractor warranty versus the next type of warranty. And so extremely thorough inspections, as I mentioned, great service guaranteed, making sure that you have extremely, oh, we got Michael in here. Owens Corning is better for us as preferred contractors. So we got that GAF Owens Corning thing going on in here. I love it, guys. So great service guaranteed, right? Making sure that you're explaining to this customer that you're going to be there for them, you know, that you're going to take care of them and you're going to do a great job. So what's your message, you know, in some of these things? Think about what, you know, what you want to put forth to your ideal customer avatar. And remember that not everyone is your ideal customer. That's another thing that I want to make sure that you're speaking to here. That person that's looking for that budget option, that they don't care about what kind of service they're going to get. They don't care if you tear up their bushes. They don't care about anything. They just want to beat that price down as low as possible. That's not your ideal customer, right? Maybe it is, but probably not, right? You want to make sure that you have a solid margins in your business so that you can be here next year and 3 years from now and 5 years from now, to make sure that you can sell that to your clients in the way that you talk to them about, hey, if you want us to be around, that contractor is not going to be around, right? That person that's just, commoditizing the roofing business and dropping their price as low as possible, that person is not going to be, that company is not going to be around long term. So what's your marketing message? And now let's take a look at media. So now we've looked at who we want to speak to, right? And breaking that down into not each type of customer avatar, multiple customer avatars, and developing multiple messages for those customer avatars. How do we speak to those customers? Where do we speak to those customers? So the first thing is we want to talk about is your website. That's kind of the hub of your internet marketing efforts, right? That's where people will visit to learn more about your company, the services that you provide, and that's where you can really put forth the marketing message to all of these ideal customer avatars. Maybe on your metal roofing page, you're really speaking to that customer avatar, right? On your asphalt shingle page, you're speaking to that customer avatar, right? So having a conscious effort to craft the message on to each of these customer avatars. The next thing is your website set up to convert a visitor to a caller, right? Even if you get your website to rank in Google, if the people visiting your website don't end up calling you, there's a disconnect there, right? So we want to make sure that your website is structured to convert a visitor to a caller. And, of course, we ask this question, can conversion optimization really have an impact? We call it CRO in our side of the, in our business, it's CRO, conversion rate optimization. Prominent Construction, started with us with this, kind of simple website. They were doing some things right? And some of you that I've spoken to, that have spoken to me, that I'm very open and honest about what you guys are doing right with the things with your websites and things like that. They were building some trust factors here. They had a form for people to fill out, to generate a lead. And they're kind of hiding their phone number up here in the right-hand side. Now, after we redid their website, you can see, we brought in a lot more authentic imagery of their company. We're not hiding the phone number at all. Bringing in trust factors, making it mobile optimized, and in this time period here, that they through the last roof, I think this was through the last roofing season, they generated 546 calls to their business because of that. Just through their Google My Business, this was April 1st, 2019 to October 31st, 2019, 537 calls from their organic SEO, right? 263 that came from their website, 274 from their Google My Business listing, with an average cost per lead of $32.59. So, once you get this conversion optimization right, that's where it leads to a lower lead cost. It will lead to a better conversion rate on your side. So these are the things that you need to have on your website to optimize for conversion in the roofing industry. The first thing is, does it speak to your target customer avatar? If you are just speaking technical language about roofing on your website, you're not speaking to the fears of that customer avatar, right? You need to be talking about your experience, your warranties, your financing options. Those are the types of things, not just the technical information. Do you have authentic images of your team and throughout the website, on the homepage, throughout the website? Do you include video elements, a welcome video, videos for each of your services, explaining why someone, Sarah, why they should choose you guys versus the competition? Does it showcase your online reviews? People trust online reviews as much as a recommendation from a friend or family member these days. So making sure that you showcase your reviews, unless you have bad ones, does it make it easy for them to take action? Don't play hide and seek with your phone number, right? You want people to call you. That is the goal of your website, is for someone to call you. Don't play hide and seek with your phone number. Have it, displayed as visible as possible. Have other options for people to contact you through the schedule free estimate forms, things like that. The basics are having your phone number in the upper right-hand corner. There has been analysis after analysis after analysis done throughout the time that websites have been up online now, we read from right to left, and we start from the top of the page and we go to the bottom of the page. So the upper right hand corner is where our eyes are drawn to the first when we first land on a website. Give people that option to call you right there. Ensure that there's a web form that they can fill out. Add credibility, through authority symbols. The Better Business Bureau, whether you like them or not, they're an authority, and they have they add credibility. If you have Home Advisor awards or Angie's List awards or any local local awards from maybe your local chamber of commerce or from your local news organization, your best of your city, things like that. Putting that right front and center. If you're a member of of any of the roofing associations, the National Roofing Contractors Association, the Western States, the Midwest, the Florida, whatever one you're part of, put that forth that you're part of these organizations. If you're part of the local chamber of commerce, put that right front and center. These are all credibility factors. And make sure that there are calls to action. The goal of your website is to convert a visitor into a lead. So make sure that you have your calls to action in place. Other conversion rate optimization things that you can do. Think about this. If you don't contact a web form lead in less than 5 minutes, you have an 80% less chance of ever getting a hold of them. So not only increase the conversion rate of what's going on your website, but increase the conversion rate of what's happening. Do conversion rate optimization on what's happening from when that lead gets submitted to your company, right? Make sure your phone is being answered, right? If you're not answering the phone, you don't get that lead. A lot of people won't even leave a voicemail. They'll just call the next company, right? If somebody fills out a lead online and they don't hear from you, again, 80% less chance of contacting them after 5 minutes. Leads that are not followed up with in 15 minutes, there's almost no chance. It's an extremely low chance of getting a hold of that person or even turning them into a sale. The average customer must be followed up with 5 to 7 times before booking. So they need to see you. Right? They need to have touch points with you. They need you to answer the phone. They need for you to call them back. Hey, we gave you that estimate. How are things going? Have you made a decision yet? Following up and increasing the conversion rate in your sales cycle. Making sure that someone is always available to answer the phone. Use an answering service for off hours if you have to. At least someone's picking up, right? We have in place what's called a form-to-call reaction system, a form-to-call reactor. This is available technology these days, right? When someone fills out a form, it creates a phone call to your business. The phone number that they put in that form goes through the call tracking system, and the call tracking system then calls that client or calls your business. You say, and it says, press 1 to connect with a new lead. You press 1. It does an outbound dial to the phone number that they put in that form, which means you're on the phone with them in 20 seconds, right? You're on the phone with these people in 20 seconds, 30 seconds from the time that they filled out that form. They pressed submit and their phone is ringing. Tell me that isn't a way that would build trust for your business, right? So using technology to optimize this trust, maybe adding text messages that go out if you can't get a hold of these people. Emails, all of these things will help to increase that conversion rate. And it becomes simple math, right? If you had 100 leads and your conversion rate was 30% with, not great follow-up, 100 leads would turn into 30 booked jobs. Say the average job size was 10 grand, 30 jobs times $10,000 is $300,000. But if you can increase the conversion rate, right? There's conversion rate optimization. It's not only about how many leads you get, it's how many leads you can convert into that sale. If you can increase the number of leads in that sale, say up to 70%, of course, this is a much bigger number, but that turns into $700,000 in sales. But what if you just got it from 30 to 35% or 30 to 40%? That's an extra $100,000 in revenue in your business. So making sure that the conversion, that your you're not just focused on, first you're focused on getting more leads, but then you're focused on optimizing the conversion rate of each of those leads. Proper follow-up makes every lead you generate more valuable, right? It's a simple concept, but a lot of times we forget it. So what are 3 conversion elements that, on your website that you want to implement? Write those down. What are the 3 simplest things that you can do? Maybe you don't have any trust symbols on your website, right? Maybe you don't have authentic images of your team, people around the office, of your trucks, job sites, things like that. Bring in that authenticity. Maybe your phone number is hidden down in the footer, right? Maybe you're playing hide and seek with your phone number. Get that up in the upper right-hand corner. All of these things will lead to higher conversion rates for your, for the leads that you are converting, or the traffic that you're getting. So again, let's be a little interactive here. What did you learn? What did you notice? What would you like to share? Drop something in the chat here. Help us out. I'm speaking into the internet universe right now. So I love your love when you guys get some interaction going on here. And a lot of times it provides insight to everyone that's on the call. So, what we've gone through so far, what did it make you think about? What could you do better in your roofing business? Aaron said, writing down my goals, right? It's a small thing, right? It's a small thing. It's something that, we think as people, man, hey, I have goals. I want to hit $3 million this year. That's enough. I know, right? But on that road to $3 million, you can, there's a lot of steps, and there's a lot of places that you could get off track, right? What if you're generating, maybe there's a place where you learn that you're not generating enough leads to hit that $3 million goal? What if your closing rate, what if your salespeople are just not closing, at a great percentage, and you can make adjustments in that, get them some more sales training, help train them up a little bit more. Maybe you're not getting, referrals from your current customers. Sarah says we should take time to upload more pictures. You're awful about doing that right now. It gets tricky, right? So I would suggest here, start with the core ones, right? Make sure you get good pictures about your team. One thing I didn't mention was the About Us page on your website, right? The home page of your website is the most visited website on your is the most visited page on your website. The About Us page is the second most visited website page on your website. So in speaking to and developing trust with those website visitors, make sure that your About Us page is really dialed in, right? Have authentic images. That may be a good place to start, Sarah, if you guys haven't already. It's not about always having new pictures going up, but just making sure that, go page by page on your website and say, man, this just doesn't look great. This is a stock photo that we took off of Google Images when we were building our website, right? This one, let's bring in a picture to replace that. Let's bring in just, small steps. If you think about replacing all of the imagery on your website, it can be overwhelming. Or in a lot of these things, if you think about doing all of this, right, it becomes overwhelming. But that's why you break it down into small pieces. So if you need to take time to upload more pictures, just figure out page by page. Hey, let's get better pictures on these pages. Your home page is the most visited. Your About Us page is the second most visited. Then it's going to go down into your service pages, which would be, say, your asphalt shingle page, your roof replacement page, your commercial roofing page, all of those, and then down into your service area pages. And just, hey, this week we're going to do this page. Next week we're going to do that page. So make it into small steps. Great. Thanks guys for sharing all that. I appreciate the interaction. So once you have your goals written down, right? We want to track our key performance indicators. And you could do this even down to uploading images on your website, right? You can have key performance indicators. So do you have tracking in place, right? Do you have call tracking in place? Do you know what your average cost per call is generated? What is that average cost per call? You want to have a simple dashboard to measure your key performance indicators. I talk a lot about customer acquisition cost, right? This is a very important metric in your roofing business. You have to understand how much it costs you to acquire a new customer. You also have to, and so in doing that, it starts with the cost of the lead, right? And then you can track it down to, down to the actual average cost per lead generated. So we put together things like this in our business. These are, maybe a little more complicated than you need, or not complicated, but a little more graphical and things like that than you need. It can be as simple as a spreadsheet. Or if you're using, AccuLinks or Job Nimbus or Jobber or, any of these systems, there are ways to put together reports for these key performance indicators. So, maybe inside of your CRM, you could do that also. But, this is a company that we work with here, and this was middle of July to middle of August. They generated 61 leads. Their total investment was $2,762, $45 average cost per lead. But you want to know where these leads are coming from, because you want to know which marketing channels are giving you the best results. So we always break it down by Google Organic. Those are calls from your website, calls or form submissions from your website. We break it down into Google My Business listings. Those of you who have spoken to me know how the local search engine results page is separated by Google into the paid ads, the Google My Business listings, local service ads, the ad extension, and the Google ads. So we're breaking these down by channel and making sure that we say, oh man, all right, we got 29 calls from our Google Organic. We had 19 from our Google My Business listing, 11 from ads, 2 from our ad extension. In knowing this data, now we can say, all right, we're on track for our goals, or we're not on track for our goals, right? So now we can make adjustments, right? Maybe we're falling behind and we got to up that Google Ads budget to get more leads coming in to then get back on track to hitting our goals. So far we've covered, that how to have clear goals and a target for 2020. We've talked about the clarity around the market, the message, and the media. We made sure that your website is optimized for conversions, and we've set up simple key performance indicator tracking, right? So keep it simple for your business if you're just getting started with this stuff. Hey, how many calls did we get this week? How many of those turned into estimates? How many of those turned into closed sales? How many of you, right? Simple metrics. And then if you're able to track where they're from, where they're coming from, even better. So now, let's talk about building your 2020 plan. As I mentioned, we have an all-encompassing approach, right? We don't believe that we believe that having the most amount of exposure is what leads to you having a solid foundation of lead flow to your business. There's a sales trainer, kind of a sales personal development trainer that I used to follow. He's passed away now. His name was Jim Rohn, and I distinctly remember this kind of statement that he made, and he said that to have a successful, consistent business, you need 5 to 7 lead sources, right? That until you get to that 5 to 7 mark, things are up and down, right? There are things that happen. If you're focused on only canvassing storm damage restoration and a storm doesn't come through, you're out of luck, right? If you're focused on only on SEO and Google makes an algorithm change, you're out of luck, right? There's a lot of things that go into it. So if you can develop 5 to 7 consistent, right, 5 to 7 lead sources, that will even out that inconsistency in your lead flow. So of course, number one place to get business best customer acquisition cost is referrals, right? That's number one. So everybody has that number one, but are you asking for referrals, right? How are you going about that? SEO is a lead channel, right? Pay-per-click marketing is a lead channel. Retargeting and remarketing ads are a lead channel. Paid online directories, repeat and referral business, paid lead, pay-per-lead places like HomeAdvisor. And, I know a lot of us don't like a lot of these lead providers, but they do provide a service that may be able to fill a gap when necessary, right? Facebook, social media, Instagram, referral programs, all of these things. So developing the opportunity to have 5 to 7 lead sources or more, right? So here are some of the key trends in 2020. In 2019, there were some shakeups in the way that Google displays search results. And over 80% of people go to Google first to search for a home service provider before asking a friend or family member. So that's where that main focus, right? That's where people are going to find a contractor. Facebook and social media channels are places where they discover contractors through brand awareness, but Google is where they go to find a contractor. So in these key trends, the Google local service ads were added to the search engine results page. The Google My Business listing proximity was pulled in, so it's become more difficult to get your Google My Business listing to show up at a further distance from your office, from your physical office location. Google really tightened up proximity, relevance, and authority. So proximity is the geographic location that your office is located in. The relevance is, are you a roofing contractor when someone searches for roofing contractor? So having proper category selection on your Google My Business listing. And then authority. So does Google find your website an authoritative website? That will help get you ranked in your Google My Business listing. Having an all-in perspective, right? Search engine optimization, pay-per-click, local service ads, social, video, and more video. I don't know if you guys follow us on, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, anywhere you see us, we put out a ton of video content. Our YouTube channel, of course, is video, but we're always putting out video content. And the reason is it's a very trust-building exercise, right? People get to know you before they call you. So we'll start with Google local service ads. If you have not seen them, or if they are not in your area, I think, Michael, I know you're the only person that I've spoken to that I didn't find them up in your area yet. But their Google local service ads are 3 ads in a horizontal fashion above the Google Ads pay-per-click advertising page. They have this little green Google guaranteed check mark next to them. That is how you can differentiate them. The Google guaranteed check mark means that Google is willing to insure your work up to $2,000 for that customer. So Google is putting their money on the line. And to do that, when they're putting their money on the line, they want you to be a solid contractor, right? So this is the back end of what it looks like when or not the back end. This is what it looks like when someone clicks on that ad. So you can see your reputation is very important in this section, right? What's your star rating can be very influential in the person's decision as to who they click on. It gives you an overview of what your company does, your business bio. This is that area that you can build trust. Having photos of your work and of your team and other trust-building imagery in there is going to help you out. And this is the way that it impacts search results. So it has moved the search engine results page down. It has moved other things down. It moved the pay-per-click advertising down. It moved the map further down. It moved the organic further down. And you can see here at the top of the organic is our friendly HomeAdvisor, right? HomeAdvisor spends millions of dollars on getting ranked there to sell those leads back to service providers. So my expert opinion, I think Google saw that and they're like, wow, that's an amazing idea. Why don't we do that and put it at the top of the page, right? So when these Google local service ads are showing, about 14% of people are clicking on those. About 11% of people are going to pay-per-click. So now Google's paid advertising spot takes about 25% of the traffic on the page. Then about 35% of people will perform an action in the map section here. And the rest of the traffic, the 40% of the traffic, will go down into the websites. And about half of that, so about 20% of that traffic, goes to the #1 spot. So you really have to have an all-encompassing approach to be able to get the most amount of opportunities for your business in this area. So Google local service ads, to get going in that, you must complete the Google local service ads application. Google will run a background check on the owners of the company, license check or insurance. They check your insurance. Business owners must complete a background check. Once approved, you pay on a pay per lead basis. So it's very similar to HomeAdvisor. That's why I have that opinion of it being like a direct shot at HomeAdvisor. Just like your Google My Business listings with being able to do the reviewing on there was Google's shot at Yelp, right? They really made an impact on Yelp in that regard. Once you're approved, you have to pay per lead. So we're seeing between a $30 to $60 lead cost, but expect those prices to shift up over time, right? This is a newer thing. It's only really been out in a couple of markets for about 2 years now, really a year and a half, and really strongly in 2019 that did Google roll this out into every market. Prices will vary by city and service. Feedback from active users, clients of ours that use this, and other contractors that I speak with, that there is a lower cost per lead than pay-per-click. Pay-per-click, you may be looking in that $100 to $300 range just to generate a lead in pay-per-click. Here you're talking about $30 to $60. Buying that non-exclusive lead from HomeAdvisor might cost you, $130. So there's a great opportunity in that. Take advantage of it while you can. They seem to be higher quality leads. Of course, you're still going to get some price shoppers. These are leads. They're not guaranteed sales. There is a difference between a lead, a prospect, a suspect, a prospect, and a sale, right? So having that expectation, most of or all of the clients really that have jumped on board are having a solid ROI from these. And so for the next steps with that, if you're a client of ours, talk to your account manager and we'll help you get set up. But if you're not, go to AdWords.google.com/local services/sign-up. And that's where you guys can start the process on doing that. Complete your background checks, put tracking in place to gauge ROI, right? So make sure you're monitoring and adding that as an extension to your key performance indicators. Be sure that you're leveraging the platform to close jobs. So on the back end of this, there is a way to disposition the leads that have come in. So let me see if where we're at here. There's a way to disposition the leads. So they're all phone calls. All the phone calls are recorded. So in there, you can disposition it as a bad lead and dispute it, or you can archive it, or you can, what's the verbiage that they use? Essentially say that you've moved on to the next step in the sales process. And by dispositioning these leads, being active on the back end of that in that system is going to help with your impression share. There are two things that Google is monitoring closely when they're putting these ads up there. So there's only 3 places, right? 3 ads available. There may be, 5, 10, 50 contractors in your area who have signed up. Who gets those 3 ad spots? Well, one thing is going to be what your budget is. So you're going to want to have an adequate budget to receive the leads. Another thing Google is watching, they're recording all the phone calls. So if you're not picking up your phone, if no one is answering that call, then you are not providing a level of customer or user experience that Google is hoping for. Your impression share is going to dwindle, right? So if you're not answering those calls, watch your impression share dwindle. The other part of it is the disposition of those leads on the back end. If you are telling Google, hey, we're moving forward with this lead, we're moving forward with this lead, we're moving forward with this lead, Google also, that's giving them an indication that you're doing well with these leads, right? You're providing a great user experience, and that's what Google's goal is. So make sure that you're answering the phone, one, and participating in the disposition of the leads on the back end. So, now that we've gone through that, what is your plan for 2020, right? What marketing channels do you want to that you wanted to focus on that you haven't focused on in 2019? What can you add to have that more consistent lead flow for your business? So we're going to talk about some real client results here really fast. What we do is making sure that we're doing, a website that's built to convert, proactive SEO, Google Maps optimization. We're focusing on your online reviews and reputation, strategic pay-per-click advertising campaigns, strategic Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns, and then, tracking and measurement of all of these things. And so an example of that in getting to the rankings in the top spots of Google, having aggressive pay-per-click campaigns. Prominent Construction generated 821 online leads from April through October of 2019, with an average lead cost of $89.78. A large portion of those, percentage of those were hail damage leads in upscale neighborhoods. We had a lot of we had some major storms come through the Minneapolis Twin Cities area this year. And so, doing this and having all of the things in place, right? They had 274 leads from their Google My Business listing, 263 from organic, AdWords, ad extension, Facebook. They tested some Bing ads for a month or so. We want to make sure that we're constantly improving and adding to these marketing channels. So the action items here, right? What are the top 3 internet marketing initiatives that you need to implement to hit your 2020 goal? Or do you want to work on, on implementing some pay-per-click advertising? Do you want to work on getting into the Google local service ads? Do you want to throw that in chat? And let us know what are the top 3 things that you want to focus on. All right, well, we're pushing our hour here, so I'm going to just keep moving on so as to not take up too many people's time. Don't want to take up too much of your time, but some key takeaways, go back through this. We're going to send you a replay of this next week, probably once we get it up. If you have to go back through and watch certain things, but what did you learn? What did you notice? What would you like to share? We've covered setting your goals for 2020. I hope you have a clear vision of how many leads you need to hit your target, and you're able to break those down into the seasonality of your area. The 3 fundamentals of marketing success, and a clear plan of action on how to develop those ideal customer avatars and developing marketing messaging that goes along with that. Some clear understanding of how to optimize your website for 2020 and beyond, and kind of a big picture understanding of what's available to you through digital marketing and the latest trends to focus on. If you want some help, we're always here. We're always here to help. If anyone on here, a lot of you already know me. We've had lots of conversations, and that I'm not just trying to sell you anything. I'm happy to have conversations with you and help you get going. The mission of Roofer Marketers is to help roofing contractors generate more sales through their digital marketing efforts. And we do that in 2 ways. We do that through this education, like our webinars, from our book, our ongoing videos, content that we're producing, educational videos. So part of our mission is education. So if you need anything, feel free to reach out and let's talk. And if you're looking to have us, of course, if you're looking to have us help you with implement any of these things, we're also available for that. I'd like to invite you to join our private Facebook group. It is for owners and marketing people for roofing companies only. So go to Facebook and search for Roofing Marketing Mastermind and click to join that group. I'd also like to invite you, listen to the Roofing Success Podcast. Follow us at Roofer Marketers on Instagram, Roofer Marketers on Facebook, Roofer Marketers on Twitter, Roofer Marketers on LinkedIn. Connect with me on LinkedIn. We're trying to provide a lot of great content through all of these channels. I really appreciate everybody's time today, and we'll let everyone go. We'll talk to everyone soon. Thanks.